and welcome back. This is Politically Sound. I am your host, Stephanie The Rock. Joining us finally is Mike.
Yay.
And we're going to get back into our discussion on. It started out as Prop 8, and now we're into the whole moral issue. We had a guy named Dude, but Dude took off because he was losing the argument.
Aw.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it happens.
And I'm in a great mood because I just saw my Patriots come back from 18 points down to tie it with 1 second left and then lose in overtime.
Nobody in the chat could name who was playing tonight, but apparently Mike knew.
Patriots and the Jets for the AFC East.
All right, so the subject we were on, and I believe, Phil, you were going to talk about what you were going to bring up about the subject, if you can remember where you were. And then maybe after that we can get Mike to respond. You were talking about the society and how which book, which Bible, and how the society you belong to looks at these things. If you could just expand on that, that would be great.
Well, it's a philosophical research society. Comparative studies on religion. Started looking at things as far as philosophical approach to all things religious. Why, dude?
We were kicking his ass.
Christ himself said in the New Testament, what is Caesar's and God what is God's. Okay, bottom line is even he was teaching.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Jesus was the one, to consort with, the lowest of the low.
Yeah,
socially
talk
speaking,
about
back
freedom of
then.
association, which
You
goes
know.
back to the Bill Ayers thing, right?
I mean, he may try to save somebody, but he wasn't out there agitating for laws to try to take away the right to sin.
Yeah,
He was trying to save people from sin on a one-to-one basis.
Even if you're agnostic and look at Christ, Jesus as was just a normal human being who you still have to, of what we know historically from his life, you still have to give it up. You still have to give props to him being so ahead of his time with loving thy neighbor, treating people as you would like to be treated. He was very advanced in the human condition. And certainly that you can't take away. We know Jesus existed. I think the argument has always just been, is he the Son of God? Which, that's where, it breaks down.
Yeah.
But even if you say he is or he isn't, let's say you say he's not, he's still associated with, it goes back to that freedom of association thing we were talking about earlier when Dude first came in and brought up Bill Ayers. Jesus hung out with the lowliest characters.
Well, and if you're still going to condemn someone with a present-day association with Bill Ayers, you have to toss aside the notion that there is redemption, because whatever Bill Ayers may or may not have done 40 years ago.
Yeah. Obama was like 8.
He's a free man these days. He's
well,
not a radical
and he
these
never
days.
was
He's
directly
not.
responsible for. He was never directly responsible.
That's beside the point. I mean, John McCain thought it was okay to hang out with Ollie North.
Well, look at G. Gordon Liddy.
G. Gordon Liddy. I mean,
Yeah, we already
yeah,
talked about all
you
that.
know.
I was gonna try to get a biblical perspective from you for a dude who maybe will come back and listen to the recording. Now, who knows? Maybe, eh? But basically, his question was, um, do you think that the direction the country is heading with Obama is going to be good?
I think it's going to be better than the last 8 years. Um, you know, because of his background and his upbringing, Obama is far more interested in governing for the people than for the corporations.
He's certainly
than
a
the
more
Republicans have been.
empathetic type figure.
Oh, I think so. You know, I think the difficulties that he faces going into this administration are huge. I mean, I think a lot of things that he would have liked to have done are going to have to get put aside just to deal with
the financial situation.
The financials, the wars, the general economic outlook. I mean, you know, people are always most interested in their immediate needs, and right now that's, a job. Can I get a job? Can I keep my house? And a lot of that stuff, the government can try to help stimulate the economy, but as we're well aware, the economy to a certain extent rises and falls on its own and depends on enough external influences that.
And consumer confidence, as I was talking about earlier in the show. I'm going to loft one at you from M9. He says, is there a logical argument for Prop 8?
No. They're the only argument.
Is there a logical argument for belief in God?
Well, is there a logical argument for faith? I think a lot of people, the logic behind that is that people would like to believe their life has a certain element of meaning, and I think there is a logic behind a belief in God.
But to be, let's be a little bit specific. Is there a logical argument for Prop 8?
No, there's only a religious one. Because their logical argument falls down on,
so you're saying that a religious argument is not a logical argument?
No, it's an emotional one.
Or one based on faith, one could argue.
Well, even at that, I mean, it's like my attitude towards abortion. It's if you don't believe in abortions, don't have one.
Yeah.
It's not like
if you think being gay is wrong, don't be gay. Well, you can't choose that, but don't act on it.
Yeah. Unless the Supreme Court of California had come down with a decision requiring you to enter a gay marriage, I don't see how it
exactly. If it said, okay, Prop 8, if you voted and it got passed, well, it did get passed, but I mean, if it had been reversed and it was the other way around, that it was, had they voted no on Prop 8, and part of it was now everyone must be gay. That would seem odd.
Yeah, like I said, it was last night we played some of the ads, and all the ads related to the fact. I mean, the ones we watched were these ridiculous notions. They all pandered to this thought, oh, it's going to confuse the children. They've got this little daughter asking, where did babies come from? So, if there's not a mommy or a daddy, what's the point of your marriage?
And then and then he goes, maybe you should stop hanging out with Megan so much.
Yeah, the argument that they were throwing out was, really was based on that whole notion that marriage is only for procreation and kids. And, even if many marriages do find themselves heavily involved in the aspect of bringing up children for a certain percentage of your life, I mean, based on that, you dissolve marriage the moment the kids all left home.
Yeah.
Okay, kids are gone, we're done.
And actually, many do.
Well, some do. Some divorce
well, actually,
earlier.
Many do. The success rate for marriage is 50-50. You can flip a coin because that's how volatile the statistics are for marriage.
Yeah, although many of them fail at various points. It's not okay. The kids are gone. Let's get a divorce now.
Yeah, but more and more you're seeing now, because women are so much more financially independent by that age, that they are getting divorced, and it's a quite interesting phenomenon. Well, and that is what they're calling it.
The phenomenon, I think, goes, you marry because you're into each other, then you spend 20, 25 years raising your kids, and over the period of that time, a lot of couples grow apart because they